Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on Toned In Entertainment, where we love pop culture. Today, it's time for another comic book review as I continue on with my coverage of the silver coin. Now, so far in this series, we've seen the coin play some tricks on a rock band. We've seen it influence a young girl who wasn't being treated right at a summer camp. What tricks does this mystic coin have in store here? Well, let's get on with my comic book review for the silver coin, issue number 3. Now in this issue, we're heading to 1986 and we'll meet the trio of Vic, Bobby, and Lisa, who are trying to be smooth criminals. But during a home invasion, let's just say something goes horribly wrong. We'll learn that the homeowner's name was Louis Atkinson. We'll learn that he was also a firefighter. And while this trio will try to figure out what their next move will be, suddenly a haunting voice can be heard saying, "Lisa, it does not belong to you." Now, of course, Lisa will freak out because she's gonna think that the old man is still alive. But as the guys go to check on the body, they'll tell her that he's as cold as ice and deader than disco. Now, as Lisa is absolutely positive she knows what she heard, Vic will just chop it up to maybe the corpse just breaking wind, as he's heard corpse have known to do that. Now, whether these criminals are just plain evil or just because they want to cover up their tracks, they decide it's best to burn the house of this retired firefighter to the ground. Now, just as the trio believes they were able to make a clean break, Bobby can see in his rearview mirror police lights closing in on them. With Lisa being familiar with this area, she will try and give them some direction on how to ditch the cops. But then suddenly Lisa goes silent, and without getting too graphic, let's just say Lisa probably should have been wearing some Depends. Now, with Bobby putting the pedal to the metal, he will eventually be stopped in his tracks, but not by the cops, but by a bird that smashes into their window, sending their car crashing. And while the guys plead with her to help her, the only thing she says to them is, "Bring it to me." And as the guys make one last plea with Lisa, she does apologize to them before silencing them for good. Now, the car that Lisa was in must have been traveling at a really fast speed because the cops have finally showed up. But rather than stick around and chat, Lisa decides she's gonna make a mad dash into the woods. And as she runs through these cold woods, a voice begins to command her that she needs to eliminate all others, as only the possessor of the coin is welcome. And let's just say Lisa will obey the voice and make sure that the voice in her head is pleased. Now, Lisa will make her way to a cabin where she is glad to return the coin to its rightful owner. And while Lisa will have questions for this entity, she will only receive a sadistic form of compensation. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give issue number 3 of the silver coin, Death Rattle, an 8 out of 10. The issue was written by Ed Brisson, and he tells yet another fun and entertaining story in this series that wastes no time introducing us to our latest victims, but then at the end leaves us with more questions on just to who or what the rightful owner of the silver coin is. Now, while the first 3 stories of the silver coin have taken place in the 70s and 80s, issue 4 is jumping us into the future, but not just by a few years, but all the way to the year 2467. Alright guys, well, that's going to wrap up my comic book review for the silver coin, issue number 3. Now, if you read this issue, what are your thoughts? Comment down below. And the next issue is not just going into the future by a little bit, but almost 400 years. So we're going to see that the legacy of this coin is definitely going to live on for a long time. And I'm definitely excited to see what kind of crazy stories these creators come up with. Alright guys, if you like comic book reviews like this and all things pop culture, make sure you stay tuned in here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.